All right, Chops, are we ready to go? All right. All right. Forky, you ready?
Yeah,
All right.
I'll preface this run saying one quick thing that we are playing on net play, and sometimes it can desync, so we hope it doesn't.
Yeah. It's only happened once to us, but it's still a possibility. All right. Forky, you ready?
Yeah, let's
All
go.
right. Start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Alrighty, so this is Goof Troop, SNES game. It's basically an adventure game that's based around 5 levels, and you have to use certain items to get through the game. Like the one that Goofy has right now is the hook shot. It's going to be the most important item. You can stun enemies, you can pick up items from afar, and kill enemies with it. It's your main source of combat in this game because Goofy and Max cannot attack themselves. So the beginning part of this game uses a lot of cooperation, as you see. Goofy's going to be playing the support role for most of the run, where Max is just going to be doing most of the running from screen to screen.
Yeah, so
if we haven't said it already, I'm playing Max and SK's playing Goofy.
Yeah, so as you can see, there's this block puzzle, and those are prevalent throughout the run. And it's really, well, because if you're playing co-op, you can basically do the puzzles simultaneously, and it's routed around that.
This game has a really unique life system, which we abuse in certain parts. So you can pick up fruits that give you hearts, and once you collect over 6 hearts, you get an extra life. So Max is just going to be looking to collect hearts throughout most of the run so he can hit stun through enemies. And once you lose all your lives, you game over, but on the very next screen, your partner can return. So we're going to be using a lot of death abuse during this run to get through it as well. Mostly for item transfer, because as you can see, each teammate can only hold 1 item. So when Goofy does game over, he transfers his item over to Max, so it just makes it easier to like run across the screen and use a specific item.
Alright. So all that's good, but now we come up to the bosses of each stage, and these are quite random. This is Gesture Hole. There are these 7 gestures that pop up from these holes, and we're only originally given 4 barrels to throw at them. And so that means that we need to catch at least 3 things to throw back. That was actually a really good fight.
It was.
Yeah.
That one can be a pain. Like, it has a really big variance, but overall, it's a super slow level.
Oh, I'm supposed to die. Whoops.
Yeah. Yeah, this is where you're going to see Goofy starting to die a little bit, because Stage 2 does abuse the deaths quite a bit.
Alright, shoot me. No. Those statues can shoot fireballs. Would have helped out for that, but oh well.
I forget who described the game like this, but we have mentioned there's a lot of RNG, but it's a game with reactive RNG, which is really cool. I'll go ahead and die and I'll go back in.
Nice, okay.
So there's a lot of different scenarios in which you can react to certain things.
And so one just like really simple optimization involves Max going to do something and then Goofy spawning right at the door waiting to go back. Oops, I'm supposed to be doing something. Nice.
Well, you distracted the guy enough there.
Dude, it was all part of my plan.
So Stage 2 is always a really big pain, to me at least,
Yeah.
especially like on solo. You'll see in one of these first rooms upcoming to where we do not have control to kill these enemies, and we actually have to have them kick the blocks into place for our puzzle. Oh, that didn't work.
That's okay.
We'll take pot 2.
Alright. Good.
So here's that room right now. These big guys are going to be kicking the blocks for us, and we can manipulate them a little bit. as we got a really fortunate pattern, actually.
Yeah. Sometimes you
But
can just kick
sometimes
into
they're
a
a pain.
corner. Yeah, sometimes you can just kick into a corner and there's nothing you can really do about it.
There's an even worse room later on in level 4, but it's actually manipulated very well in co-op.
Oh shoot, I killed the wrong
like
guy.
This guy. Oh! You gotta hold your breath so much because the enemy patterns can be ridiculous.
No! What?
Easy.
I'm not even doing anything, it just seems to be working out.
Yeah, usually there's a plan to interrupt an enemy even if they give you like the worst movement RNG option. But sometimes you don't even need to throw barrels at them to kill them.
Alright, so this is Firebug. Actually, this fight is normally quite smooth. So there are these 4 barrels and you have to throw it into them. Just get rid of it. And once you get rid of those 4 barrels, these other villagers help you out by throwing barrels. Oops. And there are a couple different things that Firebug will do. I think the best thing that he can do is the Fire Breath. There's also another pattern where he's throwing torches at you that's quite random and hard to dodge. But that fight went kind of smoothly.
So now we're on level 3, which used to be SK's favorite music until today. Apparently.
I think it was until maybe 2 days ago. But no, I still like this track.
This is a pretty good track. This game overall has some really good music and sound effects. Capcom does not disappoint.
Yeah, so this was, I think, like one of Shinji Mikami's first games or something like that. I think he did a lot, like, well, he's creator of the Resident Evil series. So apparently, this game has, like, this design of it is reminiscent of that, or should I say, the design of Resident Evil is reminiscent to this. All right, so I'm gonna take this is a little bit of a fancy strat here because I had 1 life and I want to die before doing this. We haven't mentioned that the differences between Goofy and Max. Max is faster, but Goofy is stronger. That's like the quick summary of that. So for dealing damages to the cannons, it's better to do Goofy because Max will need an extra hit. Right, more Death of Bees here. It's just to transfer my hookshot over to Max.
Yeah, and also Goofy can one-hit every like minor enemy in the game, and Max can only one-hit like 2 of them.
And it's really crucial if you're trying to do like a solo run, the differences between using Goofy and Max. Especially important later on when Max needs to do essentially 2 hits on...
Oh, I'm bad.
That's okay. 2 hits on pretty much every enemy, and there are places where you have to defeat the enemies.
So here's one of the most interesting rooms. This is when we're going to be going back and forth and exchanging items a lot, because this level 3 uses a lot. What is going on?
I don't know.
I'm going for it.
I'm
not
just gonna
gonna
reset
hit
it.
it. Just reset it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
sometimes
one.
that green guy doesn't cooperate.
Yeah, so that's what it should look like every time.
I'll let you unlock this room, actually.
Okay. Yeah. So because of this like I don't know, co-op thing where all you need to do is have one person survive the room. You can, like, I guess, refresh your lives pretty much whenever you want. And we say he's letting me open it just because Max just gets the door just a tiny bit quicker. And it's, I don't know, I find a lot of these like really small optimizations to be really interesting. But yeah, you can refresh your lives pretty much whenever you want. Do you want me to throw you one?
Yeah.
Alright, so once again, Max requires 5 hits for those cannons, and Goofy only takes 4, so that's why I transferred one over to him. Yeah, so co-op, as a result, is a lot safer. And to some extent, like, some parts of it are Definitely easier than a solo run. But the safety part is a nice aspect of it. So this is skeletons. They require 10 hits for Goofy, 12 with Max. So yeah, I've got... you take one. And they...
Dude, my guy was just chilling forever and then decided to jump.
Oh, man. Yeah, so once you get them down to half health, they can start throwing their heads. And this is just a pattern where, I guess, you're not getting bones. And they can repeat an attack twice. So we want to avoid the situation where they try to throw their head twice. And you can, I guess, interrupt the attack. Alright. Oh, okay, nice.
Beautiful. All lined up and everything.
Yeah. Alright, what's the...
I'm gonna grab a heart.
Okay. Oops, my bad. There wasn't any heart anyways. Oh, nice.
So this is level 4. This is probably one of my favorite levels for the fact that it's the only level in the game where it has 2 different places you can go to complete it. Obviously, we're going to be taking the one that's faster. And it has a lot of repeat rooms, actually.
Just going to reset it. Yeah, so you'll be seeing like that kind of room repeated again. Alright, everyone's favorite, ice physics.
Yeah, that room, that frog room that we just did, and then there's this room right here is going to be repeated as well.
Yeah, heart? Okay. Yep, once again, the frog room. And Goofy's role here is just take out one of these frogs. Max wants to have a health here just to be able to sort of damage boost past one of those enemies. But then there's another one which is Goofy's responsibility to take out. But sometimes the pattern's favorable enough that you can just get past even with minor mistakes.
I'll also say level 4 probably has more puzzles than any other level in the game, too. As you can see with these past 6 rooms.
Sorry, I'm gonna be a little bit slow here.
Unbelievable, dude.
Dude, we just...
World record is officially dead now.
No.
The only time you'll see a minecart.
Yeah, there's some
Oh
items
no!
use, like that candle down there.
Yeah.
It's used for dark rooms to light it up, but
We've got everything memorized, so we don't need them. There's also another item we don't use called the shovel, which I guess you can dig up patches of dirt to get health or lives. Alright, this is a tricky room.
dude, everything's going wrong right now.
Oh man. I just reset. Or wait.
Here. I don't
Alright.
know. Come down here.
Alright, let's just start over. Alright, this is what it's supposed to look like. Nice. Alright. I want it to take a death somehow.
Alright, so there's a little trick I'm going to be going for that's usually never worth it. But I probably won't hit it anyways.
Oh.
Nah.
There's like a 2-frame window to exit and not get that like stopped animation. It looks really... Whoops. Looks really cool when you get it, but... Oh! You want to take a death?
Yeah. If I can.
Alright. So that room is a lot simpler with co-op because one person can just throw barrels to the other person.
Speaking of simpler with co-op, we have the 4th boss here, the Rumblers. So there's 2 caterpillar-type enemies that pop out. For the first 4 times they pop out, it's just going to be 1. So you can only damage 1 at a time, but after the first 4 hits, both of them start appearing at the same time. And so with co-op, you can damage them both at the same time, whereas on solo, it'd take twice as long.
Yeah, so this saves like roughly 40 seconds to play on co-op. Plus, the fight is just simply harder with one player. You can imagine like some of these directions that they pop out of are just harder to hit than others. And the timing is always changing because the shorter that they get, each time you hit them, they lose like a piece of them. And so they're just getting faster and faster throughout the fight. So doing this with co-op, you can like pretty much get the easy angle regardless of how they spawn.
The one true auto scroller of the run. It's a nice break before level 5, the final level, because there are a lot of things that can go wrong. Specifically, the last boss. We'll talk about him when we get there.
How many hits are we on right now? 3, I guess.
More.
All right. Yeah, each of these cycles is about 10 seconds, so to save 4 cycles is like 40 seconds.
I'm gonna grab a heart here.
Okay. It's okay for me to be at 0 lives because there's gonna be just a little bit more death abuse.
Right. Nice.
See if I can hit him. Nice. Nice. This is a neat transfer of items.
Oops.
I can. Oh. Alright, so actually Max is the one that kills me here. Alright, this is definitely an unintended solution for this. You can just sort of stand half a tile and make it through there. Alright, this is a really notorious room right here. There are these enemies and the only way for them to die is to run into these cannons, but we're actually going to cheese it a little bit. My bad. If I stand here and use the bell, I'd say about like 75% of the time they'll just run into the cannons just like that. And the thing about the bell, so the bell is to lure enemies. What the heck? My bad. The bell is used to lure enemies over, but the amount of time it takes for them to react is a little bit random. And then also, like, the cannon cycles are a little bit random. You were saying?
Yeah, that was a cool room there. Max just stood in the corner while Goofy threw all the barrels. That one's pretty painful on solo for Max, because it takes 2 hits for each one of them. And you only have 8 barrels, so if you miss too many, then you'll have to reset the room. So this level has a little bit of backtracking here and there. Basically, you're on like this top deck of a ship. You go underground for a little bit to go find the boss key. And then you go back and you see a couple of the places you've been.
Yeah, this level is actually like kind of non-linear, but this is sort of the fastest way of doing it. Oh, I need to die. Wait. My bad. Too focused on ringing the bell.
Yeah, the bell is quite the fun item to have. So now we got this guy. I don't know how he got stuck back there, but we gotta lure him onto a switch. Hello?
And yeah, pretty much the only way of doing that is to use the bell. Alright, one more transfer here. What? I'm already dead? How'd that happen?
Here's a cool little trick here. Wait, were you... What?
On my screen...
Dude, did it desync?
Yeah, it desyncs. Run invalid, dude. Did it show me as alive in that previous room on your side?
I don't think so.
Oh, no. Then I was just dead the whole time.
Yeah, I think you were dead. That was weird, though. Because it showed you, like, spawned in, but you didn't have the invincibility frames, which I was going to explain a cool trick. You could kick the block into Goofy, and since he was still in his iframes, he would continue to move as normal. But, nice desync.
Yeah, nice desync.
coming up to the very end of the run. Are you taking another? Oh no, you got 1 life. That's good.
Risking it all. That final puzzle is quite tricky, casually, but with co-op, there's actually quite a smooth solution. Huh?
Well, we did that better than any practice session.
Yeah, that's for sure. Alright, so this is the final boss, Pete. Very, very random. The only way you can damage Pete is if he does this tornado thing and spawns bombs.
Whoops. Oh no! Oh,
yeah, I'm gonna
one
just
life
play it safe.
Dude.
So the only way you can damage him is if he does the tornadoes and he gives you bombs. He also does other stuff like this hook. Just throw it into him. Nice. Whatever. And you could also go up to the top platform and either shoot his musket or what do you call that? Yeah, let's call him musket. Or he can call his minions. It's actually nice if he calls his minions because then he'll be doing tornadoes from the top floor thing. I just throw it. Yeah, so the whole time you want Goofy to be doing damage. Once again, Goofy's attacks just simply do more damage. And so when you have a situation where there's a lot of bombs, sometimes it's helpful for Max to throw them to Goofy, just so Goofy gets lined up with Pete and then Max is able to collect all the bombs. Alright, so this is the pattern I was referring to. He calls them minions. Max is luring the minions away from Goofy, while Pete is ideally doing all these continued tornado attacks. Should be dead soon. Right, that's actually good.
Yeah. Time will be on the stage clear text once this boss is over. Come here, blue guy. What are you doing?
What am I doing? No! Yeah, I figured. Alright, time's coming up. Time. Alright, so that was Goof Troop. I don't know. Forky, do you have any last thing to say about that?
If you're looking for a co-op game to play with a friend, I would highly recommend this. Yeah. Obviously, there's no online, but if your friend's far away enough, practice netplay for a little bit. But it's definitely worth it for a speedrun. Yeah. And if you guys want to see more of this, this actually will be at SGDQ by me and SK, so check that out.
Yeah, thanks for watching, and thanks Keizathon, like Saf and everyone for having us. This is a lot of fun to do.
Oh yeah, keep donating. I know we hit our goal forever ago, but good charity cause still, and stick around for the legendary Griffin's run after this.
Ken Griffin Jr. is up next with Halo 2 Legendary, so you definitely want to stick around and watch that one. But thank you guys, and thank you for the great run.
Yeah, thanks for having us.